Okay, in this part of our lesson, we're working with converting a scientific notation into a standard notation. So quick review, scientific notation is when we have a number between 1 and yet it falls less than 10. So for example, we could say 3.7. It is always going to be times 10 and then some sort of an exponent. So maybe I'll put a 3 there. Okay, so this number is between 1 and less than 10. And this has to be a base number of 10, so times 10 with an exponent. Okay, so what we're going to do really quickly is do a little skill that we can use to help us remember. So we're going to be taking, and our first step is to look at the exponent, okay? So I'm going to slide one of these out so that I can use this little visual reminder to help us. So here we have, right, 3.22 times 10 to the negative 4 in standard form. Okay, so standard form means that we're going to get rid of that times 10 to the negative 4 part. So you could actually multiply this out, but we don't have to do that. Whenever it is a base number of 10, it is a simple move of a decimal. Okay, we're going to move this decimal right here. We just have to know if we're going to go to the left or the right. So here's how we remember. If you think of a number line, and here's 0, your positives are to the right, your negatives are to the left. That's what this is referencing to. If the exponent is negative, we're going to move our decimal to the left. We're going to make it a smaller number. Negative, if you think in terms of a bank account, if you go negative, that's a bad thing. It becomes a smaller amount. And if it's a positive exponent, positive or negative in that position, we're going to go to the right and make it a bigger number. So here it's negative 4. So we are going to have to go in the negative direction or to the left. This many places 4. So there's 1. So this is what I'm looking at. There's 1. I'm going to go 2, 3, 4. I'm going to throw zeros in these blank spots. Take note, I now have these 4 numbers, which are representing that negative 4. So here's my final answer. The other thing you'll notice as a quick check is if it's a negative number, your number of zeros is always going to be 1 less than that. So notice how I had 4 up there. Of course, it was negative 4, and I have 3 zeros because remember, you're always going to be moving 1 place to get out of that non-zero number, okay? Simple move of a decimal. Okay, let's try another one. Write 7.9 times 10 to the 5. So positive, that's the first thing I'm going to look at, and it's 5 places. So positive on my number line is to the right. So I'm going to go to the right 5 places. There's 1. So this one only had 1 number. You could have more numbers behind that, but we still have to move 5 places. So I'm going to add 4 more zeros. So there's my 1 place, 2, 3, 4, 5 total. Throw my comma in there. So 790,000 is the same as 7.9 times 10 to the power of 5. This is my final answer, okay? We did 1, and then we went 4 more places. That's how we got those 4 more zeros. Let's try another one. Six times 10 to the 7. This is one that tends to throw people off. First of all, we're going to move 7 places, and it's positive, so we're going to go to the right, because that's where our positives are on a number line. No decimal means it's right here, right behind or to the right of that 6. Okay, so I'm going to go 7 places this direction. In other words, I'm going to add 7 zeros. So 6 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I have 60 million. Okay, so let me write one up here so we can discuss something really quick. So sometimes you're going to have numbers that look like this. Okay, take note, we have more than 1 number here. Not always does this happen. Sometimes in the real world with scientific notation, it does. This is actually used in science to show really large or small distances. In the solar system, for example, they would use the scientific notation. Okay, so we have to move 5 places in the positive direction, so to the right. So I'm not going to add 5 zeros. I'm not going to add 4 zeros, but I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I need 2 more places. I'm gonna end up adding 2 zeros to this. So 3, 2, 9, 3, 0, 0. And this is where my decimal was originally, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's now sitting back here. Okay, so my final answer would be 329,300. Okay, so make sure that you're understanding it is a move of a decimal, not the number of zeros that you put on. Okay, because that's a very common mistake. So I want you guys to pause your video, work your way through these two, and then check back in just a minute. Okay, so you should have gotten 0.000099 for the first one. Now take note, the book will put that 0 in there. If you leave it off, that's okay. Just make sure your decimal's there. Okay, but the book size is going to put the 0 there. And the second one, you should have ended up with 12,850. Once again, you do not have to multiply these out on a calculator. It is a simple move of decimal. You're going to look at your exponent to decide, am I going to go left or right? And it's also going to tell you how many places.